How would your life change if your sense of worth wasn't tied to achieving your goals? And what is the difference between being ambitious and being consumed by ambition? Ambition drives growth, purpose, and success. But when your goals become your identity, the pursuit of success can blur into an unhealthy attachment to outcomes. If you're anything like me, and you're putting it all into what you are trying to accomplish, and you want to be sure that you're not becoming obsessive, out on the edge, measuring your personal value to your capacity for doing something extraordinary, then by the end of this discussion, we'll both walk away with a better understanding for how to pursue our goals without losing ourselves in the process. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua. I am working towards writing a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, freedom, and liberty. And this is my artist channel that I use to promote those songs. In my free time, I like to have these discussions to consider the strategies that we could implement in our efforts toward our pursuits. What is the difference between being ambitious and being consumed by what you're doing? Ambition, it can be a double-edged sword. The benefits are, it fuels your personal growth, pushes you towards achievements, and gives you purpose. It provides you with motivation and direction. But when tied to self-worth, goals make for a fragile identity. Failures to bring things into fruition, delays in finding your way, can lead to self-doubt, burnout, and worse. Ambition, it's a powerful tool, but only when it's balanced. With a strong sense of self, like a fire, it can provide warmth, security, and energy. But without control, it can consume everything. In my life, I've had a half-ton full of chaos, all a result of my failure to see any of this. And in my younger years, I burned everybody and everything, working towards something that so consumed me. Even at this point in my life, having all the maturity that I do and being as thoughtful as I've become, I'm still in a constant fight with this because since the very beginning, and as far back as I remember, the only singular focus that I've ever had was wanting to be able to be in a position to write songs, have people who would enjoy them. When we were kids, I sort of fell into being an introvert. As a result of that, I can remember being an 8-year-old kid there sitting at the piano, just lost inside my own imagination. And as best that I've tried, I've never been able to exactly recover myself to what I imagine as an ordinary life towards things I feel as ordinary pursuits. And part of that framing has made it more of a challenge for me to even achieve anything except being locked inside of the washing cycle of obsession and compulsion. To be completely fair and completely honest, if I can't find a way to make this work for myself, to meet myself and to meet that compulsion, I'm not exactly sure how I'll square it. And everything that I'm going to say today, you can know that I'm going to be thinking about. To be fair, I don't know exactly how much it's going to be able to dissuade me because I really don't know myself outside of the compulsion to work towards what I've been working towards. I suppose if you relate to me in this at all, it would be appropriate to start to consider what happens when we stop asking, who am I without my goals? And we start asking, who am I becoming because of them? Tying your identity to outcomes is dangerous work. Success becomes validation and failure becomes judgment. And all of that lends to you losing sight of who you are beyond what you achieve. I suppose if you are clear-headed about it, the best way to think of it would be to reframe the goals as tools. And those goals, they need to be our milestones and not definitions of who we are. And in addition to that, it would probably serve us if we did a better job of focusing on the process and not the finish line. Some practical ways that we might go about that would be to align goals with our values, not external validation. Celebrate the progress and not the outcomes, because the goals, they shouldn't define us. They should serve us. And I am all about doing a better job of this. Goals are something like scaffolding around a building being built. They support the growth, but they're not the final structure. So how about it? What's one goal that you could reframe as a tool for growth rather than a measure for self-worth? It's important to detach self-worth from the outcomes because failure is a natural part of doing anything. And by no means does it reflect your value. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your mindset, and learning more. Use your failures to refine your approach. You don't need to abandon the goal. How would your goals evolve if they weren't about proving yourself, but about improving yourself? When you actively pursue your goals in a healthy way, it shapes your character and gives you opportunities to better yourself, becoming more resilient, developing more perseverance, leaning into hard work and knowing that you have the capacity to do that. And whenever you reframe your goal as who you want to become and not just what you want to achieve, then you've created a much more realistic expectation for yourself, one that people won't mock, people won't laugh at, that you needn't feel insecure about, because it's wholesome and it makes sense. And if you hold that as your goal, the only thing that can happen if you continue to strive towards it is you become better and more efficient than the previous iteration of yourself. Identify one goal that you've tied to your identity and focus on reframing it for yourself. And keep in mind that goals aren't who you are. They're a reflection of who you're becoming. And as you go and get to it, keep your head up, because I'm going to keep my head up. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to my new song, you can listen here. We'll talk again soon.